Take your glasses off and get in the pool. So I'm gonna start like this. I am a guy from a place, CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama gave me. I'm here with a person that don't take no bull. Briana, Bree. I'm knowing you by more names. I'm knowing you by a lot of things that I wouldn't have a reason to know you by if we weren't sharing truth.
Right.
Right? Back to the question you asked me. Sometimes my family is very private. So it is interesting to be in a space where I'm super vulnerable. I'm constantly giving people everything I feel will build them. And my family's like, don't even mention we related.
Right. They don't want any parts of the person you become once you shed that skin that they're so familiar with.
And it's not a negative, don't mention we related. It's a thing of like, I don't want attention. I don't need attention. I like being in the shadows. And that's my true nature at times.
Right.
I'm doing this because of my students. I'm doing this because of the little black boy in Baltimore right now who thinks there's no beach near him.
Yeah.
And there's a beach that's 3 hours away that you can go enjoy and like that somebody can take their kid to right now.
Yeah.
Right? And the only thing stopping us from doing it is us. And there are other things present. There's racism. There are people that won't greet you when you walk by.
Right.
There are different things that could stand in the way, but so what?
The possibility is there because this beach not going anywhere. At least I don't think so. Has some scientific catastrophe occurs.
You know, racists, you have to be super racist to stop me from coming to this beach. Right. And then when you super racist, I'm telling the world.
Yeah.
Like the same day, like, hey, they wilding now, OC.
Yeah.
Like, so it's so abundant. It's so much here at all times.
Right.
I want to speak on some things with you regarding family.
Yeah.
Only if you're comfortable.
I am.
So you mentioned wanting more reform for prisoners.
Yes.
For personal reasons.
Because growing up, that was a huge part of my life, that experience with especially men in my life who were in and out of prison, and these are prominent figures, and specifically speaking on my father's side of the family, to see him and his two brothers, my uncles, in and out of prison, and that's the life that they lived. And then 27 years later, almost 27 years later, to see the difference in the men that they've become based on that experience. For some things have stayed the exact same, and for some things have changed. And it's just interesting, the dynamic. I can't wait to talk more about it as we unpack.
I'm grateful because there's so many people that need to hear that. We need another perspective on what it's like to be the child of someone in jail and someone that's in prison.
Yeah.
Someone with a felony charge. Because you know layers to these personalities that the world doesn't get an opportunity to know.
Right.
I'm grateful again because I started this podcast mentioning my family's perspective of me versus the world's.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So how full circle it is, right?
Right.
To be in company with you because you are grateful for the thing I do. And there's a lot
Very
of
much
folks
so.
that were telling me to slow down. There's a lot of folk that were telling me you're doing too much. A lot of folk who saw what I was doing as a hindrance, as an annoyance, right? And that annoyance to one person
could be exactly what someone else needed to hear in that moment. It was very detrimental for them to hear those words.
A person who's in prison is a hindrance or an annoyance to somebody in one segment of society.
Yes.
But the love of someone else's life.
Right.
And they're true.
I love that you brought that up because I noticed that when we do speak to the benefits, or I guess what people can get from prisoners, I think it's only limited to the the system and the corruption of it, and how private prisons, you know, they need bodies in order to maintain funding. And so that's the only type of benefit, if we're looking at perspective, that people place on prisoners' lives. And I've never been in prison. I'm not a man, but I have built relationships with my family who is, and I've experienced relationships. And so I don't fully know what they experience or what they consider to be valued, but I can believe and assume that they don't feel that they're valued, that they don't serve any type of purpose while they're inside of the walls. And regardless of the crimes that they committed, I think that's a narrative that I want to change. And it starts like, there's so many places we could start with it.
Absolutely. I want to make a special day. I've benefited so much from people in overly disciplined spaces.
Interesting.
My father
with
is
his military. Right.
Wallow did however many years in prison, and he's one of my biggest inspirations as a content creator.
Yeah.
Funnel Cake King
Okay.
served time before he started a business where he served snowballs and funnel cake and fried Oreos to kids at school.
Right. Gucci,
like this thing about all these people that have gone through this system, right?
Yeah.
This system that could either destroy you or build you up to know yourself better than anybody in the world could ever know you.
Yeah. Now, do you think since most of prisons across the world, obviously they're different. There's white collar prisons, there's blue collar prisons, there's different states. So the state of the prison is different.
Privatized bread. Right?
But I'm curious, like, do you think that those people you referenced, do you think it was their environment? Like, I don't want to speak to luck, but what do you think it was that made a difference between them getting out of prison and actually building on it versus someone else getting out of prison and falling into that same cycle?
Well, the blessing that I've come to see is there's mental prison and there's mental freedom.
Exactly.
There are people behind walls that are physically free. It's people on this beach in prison right now.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing that I've come to see is like the first book I read that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like in what I felt was my awakening to manhood or adulthood. Because I'm catching the bus to high school, you know, I'm fits here. You know, I'm starting to have my motion or whatever.
Right.
You know? I'm reading autobiography of Malcolm X.
Interesting.
He reads every book in the prison library.
Yeah.
He reads the Bible front to back. He reads these books that he had no idea to read when he was free. So I just think about like mindset.
Yeah.
It was all mindset. It's only ever been mindset.
Right.
Oh, I feel so awkward. I think I'm awkward.
Yeah.
I am. And I'm not going to finish that
awkward.
sentence.
Yeah,
I keep coming back to that.
I am, yeah.
I feel imprisoned by my circumstance.
Right.
I feel like these are immovable odds.
Yeah.
I don't. I feel like everything is possible. I feel like next year I'll be in a foreign country because I chose to be.
Right.
I feel like my finances will make that capable for me and family.
Yeah.
I feel that. I think that. I'm moving toward that. I felt like I would have my six-pack back when I was walking around with a flabby stomach, but I still took my shirt off.
Yeah.
And I got back to my six-pack, and I did a headstand, and I'm working on a handstand. I felt like the youth needed another visibility.
Right.
I felt like I could teach in a school. I thought I could teach in a school. I taught in a school. I didn't get a bachelor's degree to do it.
Right.
I didn't get a teaching certificate to do it, but God made it so that I could. I felt like I could have a podcast. I didn't know what terms it would come to me in. I felt it. I sat down in my uncle's room with a mic I paid $400 for and didn't use for years because I was thinking about music and myself.
Yeah.
And I said, I am a guy from a place, CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl. I did my little snippet in January.
Yeah.
Top of this year. And I was like, I'm looking to make people aware of positivity.
When you say you felt it, when you say you felt it, do you feel like that was like the vision that was placed on your heart from God, even though you felt it, even though you didn't see it yet?
That's faith.
And that's faith. And I'm glad you said that. I'm really glad you said that.
And look, I get at because the waves louder than me. You know, nature don't play. But
you're good. No need to apologize.
But yes, it was a gift. It is
Right.
a gift because I could have very much felt other things. I could have very much had other visions.
And I'm sure you did though.
I did, and that's right. And I could have
that-
leaned into those
you
more.
could've. And so that goes to what we were speaking to last night about choice and about faith, and about how it is a choice to have faith in the things that you serve. The biggest thing that people need to continue to recognize and pay attention to is the spiritual warfare, and every single day there's two different sides fighting for your faithfulness, and how important, like, people are like, well, I don't mean anything. You actually matter a lot to
You matter
things
so
that you
much.
can't see.
It matters so much.
You matter a lot to things you can't see. And so, and it's fighting for your faithfulness, and you have to choose every day what you're going to be faithful to and not be deceived by the things that aren't the best for you.
I'm grateful, and I'm sitting with the angel I gained this year. The power of perspective.
Yeah.
The words I gave my angel before she transcended, like before she went to the other side, right?
Right.
That I stand on in this moment, right? It's so many whys. And everybody has their own whys,
Yeah.
right? And everybody don't look at the situation I'm speaking on as if they gained an angel.
Okay.
I celebrate life
Right.
because that's all I got. That's all I'm finna get,
Yeah.
right? I talked to a brother named Zeke Johnson, and he reminded me of something that my mentor, Tango Bell, said. We are warriors in
Yeah.
the garden.
Yes.
We are not a garden in a war. And we are warriors in the garden, meaning I'm going to tend to these plants because they're beautiful.
Right.
But it's boundaries of this space. This peace, it wasn't nothing easy to come by. This
Right.
peace came at yelling at my mama sometimes. This peace came at I'm not talking to you for a little bit. This peace came at quitting a job and not knowing what was on the other side. And people still thinking I'm working it so they don't think I need help.
That's true.
This piece came at I need help and people wasn't finna give it. And I make it clear the type of help I need. And they was like, nah, I'm good on that. But God's still making a way.
When you were hitting those bottom low points, and then you found your peace, what was that in between like for you?
The in-between is the defining moment.
Yeah.
It's like the 30 minutes before you perform.
You know.
It's like it's like the walk
That's a funny way to look at it.
to school
yeah.
on the first day.
Yes.
That's the in-between.
Before you get on the bus.
Right. And then you get in the room and like,
or you get dropped off or
right.
whatever.
It's like when you on the way to work and you know you late.
Yeah.
And you already saying what your boss finna say to you.
Yeah. Or on your way to your interview and you're in the car prepping yourself almost.
The in-between is all his.
Yes.
It's in his hands. That's his
It's
time.
in his hands, and that's why building a relationship with God is so important. Building a relationship in your own time, in your prayer closet, because those are where the in-between moments actually occur, is when you're alone with God and you're actually intentionally speaking to him every day. I think we can talk to ourselves, but I used to be like, oh, I talk to myself all the time. I changed that narrative for myself, and I was like, I'm talking to God. He's listening to me. I'm making intentional. While we're talking right now, he's sitting with us listening.
Absolutely.
And it's important to remember that.
Indeed. And he got something to say. They say he talked through the elements.
Yeah, I did hear that once. Like if you say something around a bird, be careful because the bird can take it up to heaven and sing it to him or something like
Indeed.
that. I don't know the exact words.
And that's part of why they say don't curse birds when they poo on you. It's this little thing. It could be.
Yeah, it
But
could be.
Like I
That's
said,
funny.
it's interesting, this journey. And I speak so lightly. Again, I'm intentional about not sharing this as much as I would want to at times,
Right, you have your reasons.
because so many people are jaded and broken.
Yeah.
There's people who are uncomfortable when I say have a blessed day.
Interesting.
There's people whose spine hurt when I say good morning. How are you?
Yeah.
I hope you are uplifted.
Yeah.
They don't feel good at I love you. I love yous, right? when I started my podcast, I was a teacher, right? So I used to tell my students, and at one point they started calling me a preacher because I would say so many things to them and like
In that
these.
sense,
in
it
this
probably
vein.
reminded them of someone from in their day.
So if I was to give you flowers, right?
Okay.
Your history of flowers is you were hit over the head with flowers as a kid.
True.
You have such a resentment for flowers that even someone with well-meaning intentions who's come to uplift your day giving you flowers is painful. Don't bring me no flowers.
Yeah.
And you might not say it up front because you may have boundaries where you struggle to communicate. You actually may have struggles to communicate.
Right.
So now I'm not aware of your distaste for flowers, but people closer to you are aware of it. So every time I come around with the flower, hey, beautiful, how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, take these flowers, please. Have a beautiful day. You take the flowers with a,
Right.
but I'm not recognizing because I'm not looking for that. I'm just giving and moving on.
Right.
Right? So you may carry that away. This weirdo keep coming and giving me flowers.
Isn't that interesting how sometimes your good intent can lead to bad consequences?
But it doesn't.
Right.
The bad consequence is a choice of others.
Right.
And that's the empowerment. My good intention is exactly what it is. If my good intention now shifts to another intention because other people haven't received it well,
Yeah.
I'm in falsehood.
Yeah.
If I stop saying good morning because people don't receive good, all these people hate good morning.
Then you're not-
I don't say
yeah,
good morning
you're
no
not
more.
living in-
I was doing it to get something.
Yeah.
If I continue to say good morning, that's who I am. And it don't change if I'm at Ocean City, if I'm in Lexington Market, if I'm at any of these random places I'm at, right? It's not supposed to change. I am a guy from a place, CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl, and I have to do the work, the inner work, the self-work to maintain that.
That's
right?
tough.
And we all do, right? Because if it's a day where it cuts off,
Yeah.
I got to talk to him about that. Why you cut it off that day? Why you ain't go over and talk to them fellas that was looking at you at that gas station?
Interesting.
Because I needed you to speak to them.
Right.
That was literally a moment I had where it was like, why didn't I talk to them? Why did I judge that moment in that way? Why was I so iffy? And then I see a homeboy.
One thing I appreciate.
Ooh.
Oh, my bad. I
You
didn't
good,
mean
you
to cut you off. I
good.
was
No,
just-
it's funny
yeah.
because the timing. I'm gonna end it here. I saw a homeboy driving off the gas station, like somebody I haven't seen in years. Somebody I started like first grade with.
Right.
And he's like, yo, what's good? Yo, be safe out here. Cause I spin the bin when I came to the gas station.
Interesting.
I got all tents on my windows. I got out looking confusing. They was looking at me like I was crazy, but I knew the guys.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if I could speak. I didn't know what it would be like to speak to them because I already had things in my mind. I already knew I was violating. When I went through the gas
Went
station.
through it,
I
spun the bin.
I went
That's
through the gas. I don't want that pump. I want this pump. Right?
Then
All tents on the windows in the
there's
Avalon.
a lot going on.
In the Avalon, like this a hood car. Like this ain't a good look.
Right.
So that's the grace, right?
Yeah.
The homies pulling off in a 2-door joint, like cold joint. I'm like, yo, what's good? I'm happy to see. Like, yo, what's good? I've been seeing them joints you putting up. It'll be safe out here. Cause he was just talking to the guys, but I didn't know he
Right.
was with them.
Okay.
No
so-
glasses, all these different things, right?
Yeah.
All these elemental things.
Right.
Well, I'm
And
covered.
you didn't even need to know. You just needed to have the faith and stand in what you were saying and go for what you was doing.
Nothing on this
You
beach
need to
changes
see
when the
it.
sight gone.
Yeah.
Cause that's all man-made.
Yeah.
And there's people with eyes and ears that can't see or hear.
Yeah.
They fully functioning. They don't comprehend what they see. They don't understand what they hear. Deaf, dumb, and blind is not by way of your physical capability. It's by way of what's internal.
What I appreciated about that story. What I appreciated about that story was how you, and in general, what I noticed you do is you question things in a why way, like, okay, well, why? And when you are greeted with conflict, and when you're greeted with something trying to hold you back, when you're greeted with pushback, you question it. And that's that dialogue and that you're having with yourself and then with the Lord, and it's so powerful for your progression. I think that's what's gotten you as far as it's gotten, just from the outside looking in. You really like, okay, this greeted me. I know I believe this, but something completely opposite of what I think is now in my space, and I feel it so intensely, even though I know it's not true. Why? Why do I feel like that? And that's you tending to your garden, cultivating the land, working on things, seeing why it's rooted there. I was reading Acres of Diamonds today, and one of the things it said, that's by Judson. One of the things he said was like about there was this experiment that they tried to conduct in this dome where they had different, like the ocean and trees and a rainforest, and they wanted to see if they could build societies within a bubble that can be sustainable on another planet. But what they got from the study is that, yes, the trees were sprouting up and they were growing, but then they would die really quickly. And they were like, the one element they were missing was wind. And it was powerful. It's just like he's trying to pull, like, yes, something can grow up really fast and sprout, and you could see the result of it, and you could think it's great, but it's not going to withstand the turmoil, and you need wind. That's why the trees last to this day, because they've been exposed to rough elements. And so I really love that, and I'm gonna like really think about that today. Really take more time to expand on that in my own personal life.
Have you had those moments that you reflect on where you redress, like you reframe it?
And what am I refraining? Like anything? Redress or have those moments?
In terms of like, there are things we considered issues,
Yes.
right? Things we consider, why me? The reason I love what you pointed out and made me aware of is I asked, why'd you do that, Marquis, before I say, why God? Why God? Why, like,
Yeah.
and it used to be, why God? Why you take my grandmother so early?
Yeah.
Why we lose Chester Street? Why my friend died of cancer? Like, I was like, why would God, like, God ain't, I'm putting God on things that ain't his, you know?
Yeah, and his response, like,
And it's like,
not
why
responsibility.
are you being weakened by these moments?
Right.
Was what I had to ask myself. So as I'm sitting with that, like, do you come to those in your journey? Because you are stepping into the same space that I'm in, where you're doing daily devotionals. Check out her page, by the way. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't just got anybody on here, you understand? Like,
Appreciate
you're
the
doing
plug.
daily devotionals that I'm grateful to see. You're doing study that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna study today too.
Yeah.
Like, so it's funny when people are telling me how much I inspire them, and I don't always get that opportunity to be like, you getting busy too, right? Like, in a lot of ways that matter to community, and you're not gonna see it right away because you're not
Yeah.
supposed to. If I saw this at the start, I don't know what it'd be like.
right.
I don't know what my dedication would be.
To answer, yeah, that's I'm glad you brought that up, because speaking to your fears and your shortcomings that you face every day, if you are someone who wants to make a difference or impact, or just actually not even realizing who you are is the difference, is the impact, and building on yourself is what's helping the community in general, but building on your mental wealth. And I think when you face that every day, when I'm facing that every day, I literally, the most important thing I can emphasize is you're going to continue to struggle, and it's not going to get easier, but it's going to get better. And when you do change your attitude and you shift your mindset, one thing I found beneficial in my process every day is that when I'm greeted with that familiar voice, reminding myself this is a familiar voice I'm used to trying to discourage me, identifying that and being like, hey, I know what you're trying to do here. I've seen you before. God, I'm grateful because you even know in the midst of this suffering, I know that I'm loved. I know that it's going to be okay. Like that's the most powerful thing you could do in your journey of building yourself up to be what you were called to be.
I love it. I love it. You are a books, Bible, basketball?
Yeah. There's no particular order,
Okay.
but it flows better. Books, basketball, Bible.
Basketball, Bible.
You
Like,
know, it's called the 3 B's, right? And like over the years, I've developed this. Like, I'll never forget this. I was in high school, and this isn't the two. I was a teacher's pet. If anybody knew me in high school, I was all about playing sports in general and reading a lot. I never went to parties. Like, ask anybody from high school. I was like I didn't even curse. And so I'll never forget this guy. I think he was on the men's basketball team. I really wish who told me this. Shout out to you. He said there's 3 B's in life, Bree, and you can't have all 3. You can only have 2 going at one time. He was like, and he said it to me. He said it was.
Yeah, I gotta be. I knew that was gonna be one of the B's. For sure.
And he was a basketball player. He said it's books, basketball, B. He's talking about the shorties, right?
Yeah.
And so and I said, okay, for me, it's books, basketball, boys. He was like, all right. He was like, you can't have all 3 at the same time. If you're focused on the books and you're focused on the boys, then basketball's gonna fall through. And he was like, if you focus on basketball, you focus on the boys, then your books are gonna suffer. And I really said, and I took that, and to this day, I'm like, I can't have all 3 in that sense in my personal life. I can't. So I was like, but I can have all 3 of these, the 3 B's, books, basketball, Bible. Those are the 3 things that are passionate for me and drive me. I look back to all my struggles and all my gifts, everything I've been great at, and everything the leadership positions he's placed me in. I'm like, these are the 3 things that I thrive in. Library, reading, easy. Basketball, easy. Bible, easy. Whatever you think it to be. You feel me? All those things have been hard for me, but they're easy. And so I think that's what I'm put here for. And that's what the basis of Noble Academy is. Books, basketball, Bible. That's been the rotation. I'll sneak a boy in every once in a while, but it's not been... We're not even going to get into that.
Hey, that's a whole nother cast.
Goodness, yeah.
But sitting with that and it's bringing me to focus.
Yeah.
Right? We're in an era where instant gratification means more than anything for some people.
Yes.
I was a victim of it. If I was upset, I just go silent. I could go silent.
Isolate.
You could easily isolate.
Okay.
Isolation is
Shut
easy
down.
Right, shut down. That's an instant gratification.
Okay.
But a long-term suffering. Because that now puts a deadening on certain relationship aspects.
Yeah.
If I wanted some intimacy, right?
Yeah.
You can have access to that through social media. You can go straight to and it's short-lived. It's microwave. It's not fulfilling. It's not this. Right? It's not genuine exchanges. So as I sit with that, I think about focus. I'm coming back to focus. Focus is not balance.
You look at them as 2 different.
Focus and balance are different. And Myron Golden, he was a pastor. He's from Florida, and he does a lot of different motivational and sermons and different things on YouTube.
Interesting.
Focus and balance.
Yeah.
2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Balance is what you could try to do with books, basketball and boys. I'm going to come back to the other one.
Okay.
Well, a fella could do with books, basketball, and women.
Yeah.
We could try to do this balancing act.
Yeah.
But I'm not a juggler.
Right.
And jugglers drop. And jugglers can't do that everywhere.
Yeah.
You gotta stoop down low. Can you keep that? You gotta stand up taller. Can you keep that?
Yeah.
You gotta go from one room to the next. Weather's changing, seasons change. Can you juggle all these things?
Yeah.
Maybe something's put to the side for a little bit. Maybe I gotta put the third B. Maybe the girls gotta put the boys to the side. Maybe the fellas gotta put the women to the side for a moment to lock in and focus.
Yeah.
Because focus is, we trying to travel this summer. I got this podcast to do.
Right. So focus is like that long-term gains.
Long-term gains?
Yeah. And that balance is that short-term day-to-day. I know I'm getting through this. These are the brick-by-brick moments.
And it's false balance.
Yeah.
Because in instant gratification, in this era, we've been trained to balance distraction with things we really care about.
Okay.
I got to think about this thing in another country that's not actually impacting me day to day. I'm not saying I don't empathize or feel something or want some relief for those people. There's things in my backyard and in my house right now that I got to lock in on. It's business I got to lock in on.
Right.
It's a podcast I said I'm going to do every day I can that I got to lock in on. I'm trying to go here this summer. I'm trying to do things on balconies. I mean, I am too, but I got to lock in. I got to lock in and lock in. Got me to the point where I'm doing all the things they told me I had to put this to the side to do.
In order to do.
Oh, you ain't going to get no girls doing that. It's a lot of attention these days.
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't gonna get to travel. I've been to more spaces through the works that I've been blessed to do than I ever would have trying to put money from some job I hate toward trips. Let me put $100 to Puerto Rico every month for 3 years. And I'm invited to Puerto Rico for free because of the trainings I do, because of the work that I'm out here. So it's like I'm saying, he will open the doors. You gotta be ready to walk through them.
We was talking about that, about like when you start really working for God, he knows your heart. He knows what brings you joy. When you do the work for him and you commit to it, he's gonna make it joyful, the work that you're doing for him. You're gonna find joy and passion, and then it's not gonna be like, it doesn't feel like a chore. I feel like sometimes when you're new to faith or you're coming back to faith, you might think it's a chore because of how difficult it is, and you gotta feel like, dang, I'm going against this grain of comfort that I've established through these distractions and through this balance I've set. And it's like God's gonna comfort. Like he's if you did the work that he called you to do, and you still were able to travel, I think that's such a blessing that you got the best of both worlds. You can't do that when you're on your own out here trying to figure it out.
He is everything.
Can't. Yeah.
He is everything. Even the things we think he is not. When you walk in a trap house and there's crosses in the trap house.
Okay.
And this scripture written on a piece of paper in the trap house. He's everything and everywhere.
He is.
It's people that's praising his name in a cell right now because they supposed to. That's how they get through.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting with it, it's like, he's in me. There's no moment where I'm ever supposed to say, I'm not enough, because I am is a statement of him.
Yeah.
Anything I say of self is what I say of the highest.
Yeah.
So it's like taking it out of religious concept to put it fully spiritual, put it fully into the truth it is.
Yeah.
He's this sand that's keeping my feet cool. Bury your head in sand.
Yeah.
On a hot day, go under the sand. Right? It's these things where it's like, oh, they used to say that as a kid, but that was worth $1 million right there. Like, I have joy because I honor every part, and I was able to recognize in my darkest hours.
Yeah.
It's the brightest day outside. People big smiling. I'm dark inside.
Interesting.
Right?
Right.
What's going on around me is not the true temperature.
Okay.
I used to laugh when girls would be like, oh, I'm cold. Yeah, it ain't cold out here. I'm anemic. Oh, you anemic. Low iron. Oh, that time you have you flow. Oh, whatever, right?
Oh,
what's going on within you is not what's going on within me.
Yeah.
And whatever's going on around us is not what's going on within either one of us until we accept it.
Yeah.
I joke about it. It's people that will come to this beach and say, oh, this nasty. I don't want to put my feet in that nasty. It's just a big dirt pile with water crashing up against it.
But then
all the sand in places I can't. And I'm like,
and then there's some people who come here and they're like,
I'm gonna be here. It's somebody that's sleeping on it. They falling asleep on this beach, letting the waves
no towel,
beat a lullaby. No
sand.
towel, just straight sand on the neck. You know, straight to it. So it's like I'm saying, and I get long-winded, but I won't even say long-winded because that's a judgment. I get into this space because I'm grateful to have it. Like,
very much so.
I've been talking about a podcast since 2018.
Yeah.
I've been talking about starting it with 7 different friend groups.
Yeah.
And I gotta say 7, I stopped counting. But I know there's a lot of people I talk to about a podcast.
Yeah.
Not only talk to, but say, you should be on it. People that I saw on my podcast are not on my podcast.
Yeah.
So that's why I just say, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
Y'all hear that? That's joy.
Yeah.
It's a choice. Good days are a choice. Ooh, we'll be on for time. Because, you know, we got lives and stuff.
I know the day you get away from us talking about this stuff, man.
Books, Bible, basketball.
Books, Bible, basketball, and the overall vision. I've been working on my elevator pitch, and like I'll be very frank and open at the stage I am in my business. I know that we typically come across people who are established, and then they're trying to give you the game and things like that. I would say my game right now is to be as authentic as possible with you at the place I'm at with it. And I think my biggest hurdle is myself, and I need to get out of my own way. And so with Noble Academy, KBA, I plan to provide encouragement for people, relief for people, and understanding for people in a space where people could come. I can't tell you who you are, who you're gonna be, and stuff like that, but what I can show you is the importance of building it up and continue to show you the fruits and benefits that has, and how that impact that you have working on yourself every day can then produce fruit for the people around you to consume. I think everybody genuinely does want to be something for someone else, right? They want to. There's someone out there who's doing it for another person, and so they're in your orbit. And I know you want to show up and be the best you can be for them. And so with Noble Academy, that's pretty much the overall goal. I know eventually I want to take it to the level of prisoners and helping them find their place in society, even while inside of the walls. And then eventually I want to grow that. And so for sure more to come, obviously, for anything. So I'm really grateful. Thank you for this space to share and establish something, establish the vision that was placed on my heart.
Thank you for all that you shared.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to. Thank you for all that you've given me because you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Thank you for the way you connect with the content, because I need that.
It's
and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. If you haven't already, subscribe to his broadcast channel. He gives out daily, if not every other day, messages that are a real treat.
I'm grateful. And I will say this
for real.
to anybody out here that wants to do it for somebody else. Ask yourself, why do you want to do it for somebody else?
Right.
And ask yourself, what are you doing for yourself in this moment so that you can be the person doing for somebody else?
Yes.
And an affirmation I'm sitting with is, I am my biggest fan, I am my biggest supporter, and when I fall short, God covers the rest of the way. I am my biggest fan, I am my biggest supporter, and when I fall short, God covers the rest of the way. The reason I say it is because there will be many people who come, many people who go.
Right.
Some people are blessed to have big families, and they have moments where they lose family members.
Right.
Right? There's people who have the white picket fence, the 2.5 kids. That was one of my teachers' things. 2.5 kids and a wife. And the wife says, I don't want to do this no more. Or the husband says, you know what? I always wanted to be an underwater basket weaver, and I'm going to move to Hawaii. I don't care what anybody thinks or feels. Right?
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Or a child is taken before we expect the child to be taken. And we have these moments, these defining moments. I call them defining moments because God is watching.
Yes.
And how we respond to these moments, how we react to these moments says where we stand with our understanding of who he is and what he offers.
Yes.
So
amen. I love that.
I say it with all the love in me. You are your way to freedom. Your relationship with God is your guide. One day made better, as many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that is unfair. The joy I've been given is best when shared. Visionaries never die, legends survive. Through the seeds we sow daily, we get better with time. Thank you, Briana.
Thank you, Marquis.
Yes. I am a guy from a place, CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama gave me. Please give somebody the love that they're asking for. And I hope that somebody starts being you.
Yeah.
I better go touch the water. Yeah. We were searching for the right way, did a lot of wrong. Can't go back, gotta move on. Gotta move forward with corrections given and accept that living still brings pain. Even when you're moving with the best intentions and you blessed with visions of joy, bliss, peace. Gratitude for every day I live to speak and I live to breathe in growth and abundance. Traumas get healed when the shadows confronted. I know my truth, I wear it in public. Meditate, pray, and give praise when I rise. Keep a clear mind and the planet stays high. Came here with everything, came here perfected. Took on some bags that I thought were protection. I let it all go, every limit. Grateful for peace in this life that I'm living. Glad to say the cycles are finished, complete. And I'm still on my feet. Wishing you peace. Wishing you peace. Wishing you peace. Well, thankful. Peace.